When I look back on it now, I was an immature kid, okay?
Okay.
But basically, he seemed like, when I look back at it now, to be honest, he was in a tough position. He was a booker, and he was a rough edge type of guy, and he wanted success, and I can admire that. I was just a young, I had no patience.
Well, it's a double-edged sword, right? It's like,
Yeah.
you're Sammartino, so huge for whatever area takes you on, right? Because you're a selling point. But then on the other hand, maybe there's some jealousy going on involved with that. Did anyone ever give you problems?
Like what, a promoter?
Promoter, wrestlers.
Yeah, they all go. No, I mean, Ole Anderson, basically, I guess he was a good guy, but if you're a young guy in the business, and if you have if it looks to be like you have an attitude, they're going to try to, discourage you a little bit and mess with you a little bit. And he fired me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I remember the situation was we were in Richmond, Virginia one time, and George Scott was the booker, and he got fired. And my dad had it worked out with George Scott that we're going to build David up, but we're going to build him up. But he can do. He's just learning. He can do. He can be the journeyman in house shows, but on TV he's got to go over. He can't do no jobs on TV.
Okay.
And that was.
Now this is your dad saying this.
With George Scott.
Gotcha.
My dad worked that out with George Scott, because so I could have a promising career because I showed some talent. So George Scott gets fired. Crockett's fired George Scott. They bring Ole Anderson in. So naturally he wants to do everything in his own way.
Right.
So right away he wants to beat me on TV. So they had pretty good radius for their TV, and it was going up into the New York markets then, the Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling, early 80s, 81 I think it was. And so I told him, I says, Mr. Anderson, I says, my dad had worked out with George Scott that I don't do jobs on TV. Well, and he was like a loud type of guy, and he says, well, if you can't do the job for me on TV, then you can't work for me here, so you can pack up your bag and get the F out of here.
Right.